Hungry Howie's Pizza just won't die. The stagflation of the 1970s, the Great Depression of the 2000s, and the pandemic of 2020 have come and gone. Yet none of them managed to dent its success. But how did this company become immune to economic decline? This is the story of Hungry Howie's, a journey of passion, risk, and success. Jim Hearn was a U.S. Army veteran who worked as a home delivery milkman. It was tough, but Jim could cope because he had a plan. Fast food was a booming business in America in the 1970s. Brands like McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's were expanding quickly. However, Jim noticed one thing. Most fast food businesses were focused on one thing: hamburgers. Jim saw an opportunity in pizzas. So after some years of working as a home delivery milkman, he bought a 1,000 square foot hamburger shop in Taylor, Michigan, and turned it into a full-service pizzeria. Jim employed high school teenagers as part-time workers, and he kept close relationships with these teens even after they left the company. One of these relationships formed the foundation of the company's unprecedented growth. Managing a business and working as a home delivery milkman greatly strained 30-year-old Jim Hearn. Providing for his family fueled his resilience. However, one thing was obvious a year after starting the pizzeria in 1973. Jim's idea was a hit. The business was growing. Sales were booming. Now, although this growth solved Jim's money problems, it also invited more problems. Jim had to deal with managing quality control, customer service, and other operational inefficiencies all at the same time. If expansion was part of the plan, Jim needed extra hands. Fortunately, he didn't have to search too far. Jim employed a group of teenage boys in his first year of business, 1972, but most of them left for college the next year, 1973. One of these boys, Stephen E. Jackson, was experiencing a life crisis while Jim was struggling to make his business work. Stephen E. Jackson was a part-time worker at the Ford Motor Company. At the same time, he was studying to obtain a bachelor's in elementary education, BS degree at Eastern Michigan University, EMU. Stephen had a passion for teaching, but as his graduation date approached, he confirmed a horrifying act. Although American hunger for fast food boosted business in the industry, stagflation was real. 1970s America had little to no jobs for teachers. So in 1976, just before graduation, Steve approached Jim and pitched a partnership that would change the company's direction. And if you like to learn about the history of your favorite eateries, be sure to subscribe for more content like this. After almost 4 years of college, in September 1976, a 21-year-old Stephen quit his job and dropped out of college, and his only plan was to build a second location for Jim Hearn's Pizzeria with an initial investment of less than $25,000. He was going against everything his blue-collar family represented, and at that point, he was already married, so failure wasn't an option. Stephen staked his entire future on a small pizza company, but despite the stagflation, everything turned out fine. In fact, 5 years after Steve's gamble, the company grew to 12 locations. In 1981, Steve and Jim had incorporated their fast-growing business. Pizzeria companies like Little Caesars and Domino's Hut, which had roots in Michigan, were expanding fast. The pizza market was growing to equal its hamburger cousins, and Jim's former employees, friends, and family could finally see the unmined gold reserve in the pizzeria business. So without wasting time, they partnered with Jim to open 10 new locations in the metropolitan Detroit area. However, the next year in 1982, Jim decided it was time to fulfill his lifelong dream of living in Clearwater, Florida. In the summer of 1982, he moved to Florida and started Hungry Howie's Florida Inc. and allowed Stephen to manage the rest of the units. 10 years after converting a hamburger shop to a pizzeria in 1983, Jim's idea was now a fledgling corporation. However, like most new corporations, the new company needed money to expand. Fortunately, the company had lots of entrepreneurs who wanted a piece of the pie, so it started offering a franchise package of $50,000 to $65,000. Franchisees paid a royalty fee, which started at 2% of sales in the first year and rose to 5% in the fourth year. But money from franchising wasn't the only factor that boosted the company's expansion goals. In 1984, pizza surpassed hamburgers as the fastest-growing segment of the fast food industry. The company had a sales revenue of $11 million in 1984, and that was the beginning of the decade of pizzas. The next year, 1985, the company posted sales of $16 million, and its franchisee pizza sales grossed $5.7 billion. By 1986, 1986, the company had 67 locations, 34 in Michigan and 33 in Florida. Yet this growth was just the tip of the iceberg. 9 years after Stephen gambled his future on a remote pizzeria in 1985, the business was now a regional brand in the Midwestern U.S. However, there was a major problem. Although the company's sales had doubled from $11 million in 1985 to $22 million in 1986 and then $31 million in 1987, the pizza industry attracted competition, yet industry giants expanded and consolidated their hold on the market. Medium-sized companies like Hungry Howie's needed a unique offering, so in 1985, a franchisee decided to dust sesame seeds into its pizza, butter it, and let customers have a bite. This franchise got a positive response and informed the company. Excited by the idea, the company evaluated the process in a few stores, and soon enough, the customers couldn't have enough of the new pizza. And that was the birth of flavored crust pizzas in the U.S. Soon enough, every brand in the U.S. offered a variation of the flavored crust pizza, but the original idea belonged to Hungry Howie's Pizza, which had trademarked the term flavored crust and offered 8 unique crust flavors. The company distinguished itself from the crowded market with these offerings. However, a unique offering wasn't enough to make it stand out. It needed a new plan. The 1980s was a good period. By 1988, 15 years after starting the company, it opened its 52nd location in the Metro Detroit area and had 100 locations throughout the U.S. in states like North Carolina, Georgia, California, and Colorado. Around that period, Pizza Hut had 8,000 restaurants and $5 billion in sales. Domino's owned 5,100 stores worldwide, and Little Caesars had 4,700 locations. But Stephen Jackson didn't believe there was no room for a new giant in the industry. At the same time, a unique offering wasn't enough to buy customers' loyalty, so he decided to target 2 growth variables: pricing and delivery. The company created Hungry Howie's Distributing Inc. to control product pricing and delivery. It opened a 25,000 square foot distribution center in Livonia, Michigan in 1986, and in 1987, it launched a second distribution center in Lakeland, Florida. At the same time, the company used heated trucks to deliver pizzas to factories, offices, and homes during lunch at a delivery rate of $1.50. In the 90s, the $1.50 delivery rate placed the company somewhere between Domino's with its free delivery policy and Little Caesars with its no delivery policy. In other words, the price of Hungry Howie's Pizza was close to that of Little Caesars when customers visited the restaurant, but closer to Domino's Pizza when the pizzas were delivered. The new idea was a big hit. The company became the 14th largest pizza chain in the country, with a sales revenue of $65 million in 1991. The following year, 1992, the company had 210 locations, 85 in Michigan and 105 in Florida. In 1993, the company grossed over $93 million in sales revenue and grew to 250 stores in 1993. By 1994, it had over 300 locations and sales were up 15% to $107 million. As if that wasn't fast enough, in 1995, the company grew to have 282 stores in 13 states and became the 11th largest carryout and delivery pizza chain. And in 1996, the company grossed $140 million in sales and had at least 354 locations in the United States and Canada. However, a new century was approaching, and nothing lasts forever. From 1987 to 1997, the business maintained a growth rate of over 10%. However, the 2000s came with numerous changes. Search engines, smartphones, and social media revolutionized the marketing space. At the same time, the 2001 dot-com bubble and the 2007 to 2009 Great Recession bankrupted many businesses. But Steve Jackson had the secrets to maintaining a recession-proof business. In fact, during the recession, the company carried out a major reform. It redesigned its logo and changed its marketing strategy. But that was just a part of what it did. The company also developed a unified point-of-sale (POS) system, allowing customers to place home orders. To top off the reforms, it created a proprietary intranet-based system, Howie's Online Management Exchange Home, a reporting system that allowed a franchisee to monitor the percentage of its online sales, ticket amounts, average delivery times, and more. These reforms helped the company attain same-store sales growth from 2009 to 2016, and when the COVID-19 recession of 2020 came knocking, the company delivery and pickup system set up in 1985 ensured it had no negative effects on sales. It helped boost the company's sales by 20%. Jim Hearn built Hungry Howie's Pizza as a way to escape his life as a home delivery milkman. But with the help of one of his teenage employees, the company is now the 11th largest food chain in the world. While most companies of its time have struggled to adapt to new technologies and damaging recessions, this business has used them as stepping stones to new heights. Is Hungry Howie's adaptation luck or proactive planning? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to support our channel.